Steve Martin here, and I'm in the shop today. Took a day off from riding. Many of you probably have your Gen 5 already, or it's going to be here very soon. And maybe you have some accessories to install, or maybe you just want to take it apart and admire it. So today I'm going to show you how to take the hood off. They made it considerably easier to take the hood off versus the Gen 4. So let's get started. There's this little access panel here, no tools required. Just push it back and it comes right out. Now everything in the hood can be unplugged from right here. Headlights and the gauge. And then there are two T25 screws. I have them on an impact. Those are out. Now we're going to pull the panel off. We'll start by removing the oil access door. It's just one latch, and it slides up and off. There are 3 bungee straps, one inside on top of the clutch cover, one at the front, one by your footwell. There's a latch on the gas tank. Then there's a little latch right by the brake rotor to press it, and it'll slide right out. Now the panel's off. Interesting thing about this new enclosure, the CVT is separate from the engine now, meaning no belt dust is going to get into the engine. It's protecting it from the heat of the engine, keeps our belt temps lower. The CVT is designed to draw air in through the intake here and discharge out the top. And it moves more air than the engine does. It's pretty impressive. 2 straps, 2 latches. We'll have the exhaust side panel off. Then we're going to remove the last 2 remaining screws out of the hood. Again, T25, they're 5mm screws, ones with the washers on them. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the air intake from the airbox. The Phillips screw, we just loosen the hose clamp. We don't need to remove it. Now the hood should come off. Now we're just going to pull forward and the hood's going to come off. That's it. With the belt cover off, you can really see the big change in the Gen 5 platform. They made it skinnier, they integrated the belt cover into the side panel, and that gives us a ton of room on the bottom of the primary. Super easy to get the belt off now, which is really nice. And while the hood is off, I'll show you one more cool feature. There's no more vent in the front. No more screen to tear out in the trees. And that prevents snow from filling this compartment. Heat is extracted through these 2 vents and one in the hood. No more carrying snow around with you. Turbo! If you're adding any accessories, here's the accessory power plug. It is a dummy plug in that console. That's what you'll plug into. Pretty handy. And now, before we put it back together, I'll show you how to line it back up. These 2 tabs and these 2 tabs have slots in the snowmobile for it to slide into. It's hard to see in the video, but if you have your hood off, you can have a look. It's just real similar to a Gen 4. It's really simple. Make sure our wiring harness details are out of the way. Make sure tabs in the rear start. Feel the ones in the front. There they are. And it's home. And before we start putting any hardware in, I like to visually inspect that the airbox and the air intake, they made a good seal before I tighten the hose clamp. I've seen people leave these loose out of convenience, and it's a bad idea. You're not getting filtered air out of the top, you're pulling hot, dirty air out of the engine compartment, and you don't want that running through your engine. So it's connected properly. The fit and finish is so good on these. I never see an issue unless they were damaged while they were apart. So we'll go ahead and tighten that. And now we'll put our screws back in. Now we'll put the screws in. The ones with the washers go in the hood. And I'm going to use a screwdriver to put them back together. It's a Torx screwdriver. It's way too much torque with an impact. You can do it, but I just run them in with a screwdriver. And since there are only 4 screws, it's pretty obvious which ones go in the top here. The only 2 you have left. And now that all 4 screws are tight, or in, we'll go ahead and run them in tight. Now we can plug our gauge and the headlights back in. Really easy. I don't know if you can see me. It's be a lot easier with 2 hands. Here we are. And the little panel that covers it. And then we're done. Besides panels, then we're done. Clicks into place. Nothing to it. We'll just go in reverse from how we took it apart. Start with the clutch cover. Make sure the strap's out of the way, it goes way easier. Our new little latch clicked into place. Put our 3 straps back on. Shut our latch in the front, or on the rear there, on the gas tank. The only thing left on this side is the oil access panel. Nothing to it. And the last thing is the exhaust side panel. There are 3 little tabs that we have to make sure are home before we button it up. Start with the bottom ones. You feed the top one in right like that. Latch on the gas tank. 2 straps on the panel. And then one on top. And we're ready to ride. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And I hope I see you on the mountain.